All along here, you have the medical examining rooms. This is where the pill pushers kill their victims. But this...
Got us 4 tickets to the St. John's game. Maybe your sister want to bring somebody.
Great.
Hey, take care of this for me, will you?
Well, I just wanted to show you these clippings from the last couple of days, just in case you didn't catch them. You got the Banner, the Chronicle, the Intruder.
Don't worry, we won't need it. Stay here.
Come on. I can't see anything in here. Suction. Come on, I need some suction. Let's get it in here. There we go. All right, we got to pull out Gusher here.
There's an outstanding warrant, parole violation. Hook him up. Everyone else, get with the team to assist. If you do not want to assist, that's fine. Just stay out of the way. My name is, it's French and Spanish. In Spanish, it's La Salle. I was a young adult when I started spelling it with a Q. I was in college. And the reason I did it, I'll never forget, we had this professor, and they were like, when you hand in your picture and resume, let me tell you what happened. And he just started throwing them in the garbage. And he said, make sure you have something that stands out.
On the page.
And it freaked me out so much.
What happens when one of television's most commanding doctors walks away from the biggest show on TV, not once, but twice?
Now invert the wound edges and space them because the tissues will be swelling over the next 48 hours. Just space them the way that you see here.
Dr. Benton, the policeman's here.
Okay, I'm coming.
Eriq La Salle's journey from Hartford streets to ER's operating rooms hides 2 explosive secrets: the controversial creative battle that nearly destroyed his career, and the haunting accusations from a co-star that surfaced years after her tragic death. This is the untold story of the man who chose integrity over fame. On July 23, 1962, in Hartford, Connecticut, a future icon was born into a world that wouldn't make things easy. Eriq La Salle, one of 4 children, was raised by his mother, Ada Haynes, in a working-class neighborhood where dreams of Broadway and Hollywood seemed impossibly distant. But young Eriq had something most kids didn't.
It's like acting became a default, successful thing to do.
Well, I was writing at 8 years old. As much as you write at 8 years old, but I was writing poetry.
By his teenage years at Weaver High School, he'd become the go-to guy for love letters. His brothers would come to him when they'd messed up with their girlfriends, and Eriq would craft the perfect apology, the perfect romantic gesture, all wrapped in carefully chosen words.
I wanted to write a play for my drama class, and then they were like, no, we need you to audition. So at 14, I auditioned. That's when the acting bug took over.
The acting bug bit hard, but the universe had a plan that would circle back to his first love. Eriq's path wasn't typical. He earned a spot at Juilliard School's drama division, studying from 1980 to 1984 as part of Group 13.
I do think that Juilliard was an amazing training. I was there for 2 years.
But 2 years in, something shifted. He transferred to New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, where he completed his Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in the graduate acting program in 1984.
I had a great mentor who called NYU and said, you should see him. And then they accepted me as an advanced student, so I didn't miss a beat. And it worked for me.
Upon graduation, Joseph Papp cast him in Shakespeare in the Park's production of Henry V. Broadway followed. Roles stacked upon roles, including a stint on the daytime drama One Life to Live, where he played reporter Mike Rivers. He was building something, brick by brick.
Now, what I am going to suggest is that he showed me around his pharmaceutical company, introduce me to people. Now, what I'm hoping is that I hang around long enough to be trusted.
Then 1988 arrived. Eddie Murphy was at the height of his powers, and Coming to America was his ambitious romantic comedy about an African prince searching for love in Queens, New York. Eriq landed the role of Daryl Jinx, the arrogant, soul glow-dripping son of a fast food magnate who was supposed to marry the woman Prince Akeem desired.
His character was the acceptable man, the one you're supposed to marry.
Interviewers would later observe,
I can appreciate the way you handled that dude with the gun. I would have helped you out myself, except
Well, I had a cup of coffee in my hand, you understand, right?
But Eriq wasn't in the 2021 sequel, Coming to America. Why? He was executive producing Chicago PD, directing episodes, and spending every spare moment finishing his third crime thriller novel.
I basically had no time. So, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, I'm working on the show. And then any spare time that I had, I wanted to finish up my latest novels.
I average about 4.5 hours of sleep, he explained.
What's happening in the present, how creative am I being in the present? What am I looking at for the future? And so, launching.
But before the novels, before Chicago PD, there was ER.
Dr. Carter, you have 6 in backup. That's not good. Look, this is St. Patrick's Day. The worst is yet to come. Let's move, huh?
Okay.
The pilot script landed in Eriq's hands, and he read it with growing excitement. The role of Dr. Peter Benton was so well written that Eriq assumed it was written for a white actor.
And so I was confused because, all the good roles have always, whenever I read a script, the really good roles are always white males.
Right. He was wrong, and he was the last actor cast among the regulars. So last, in fact.
They pushed their schedule back so much that the first day I was in every single scene.
Ooh. Man.
When Eriq finally arrived for his first day, he had 12 pages of dense medical dialogue to deliver while walking with a Steadicam in one continuous take.
It was a kind of speech that you needed a good week and a half to work on, to, medical jargon, speed, rapidity, just, efficiency, all of this. And literally, it was I think it was like a 3 or 4 page oneer.
22 takes. That's how many attempts it required because Eriq made a crucial character choice. Benton would speak with rapid-fire precision, testing everyone around him to see if they could keep up. If he was testing Dr. Carter, played by Noah Weil, then Benton had to run faster than Carter could follow.
There's a woman in the suture room who needs stitches in her face. The plastic surgery boys are there already. Why don't you go in and back clean up? Give her a really good scar.
By take 22, they were out of film. Either he nailed it or they didn't have a show. Eriq nailed it. Noah Weil and George Clooney looked at him and applauded. 22.
Little did I know they were running out of film, and the 22nd take was the last take that they could do, and they were smart enough not to tell me that.
ER became a phenomenon, not just popular, a genuine cultural force that dominated the 1990s. Eriq's portrayal of the tough, uncompromising, brilliant surgeon earned him 3 NAACP Image Awards and nominations for a Golden Globe and 3 Primetime Emmy Awards. But Benton wasn't likable. He was harsh, demanding, seemingly cold, and that was exactly the point.
Commitment to the characters is like, and when I was watching Hill Street Blues, I just made a decision that, I'm not going to apologize for Benton.
I watched Dennis Franz play Sipowicz on NYPD Blue, and he never apologized for this character, Eriq revealed. Actors are so preoccupied with our reputation, with our image, that we compromise our characters so we don't get penalized.
Eriq refused to compromise. When people complained about how Benton treated Carter, Eriq and Noah would laugh. They were probably the closest guys in the entire cast. The chemistry, the tension, the mentorship, it was all craft, not conflict.
Hence, we still are very close and still hang, So it was a testament of our chemistry. It was a testament of our commitment to the characters.
Just when you started liking him, I wanted him to do something that turned you around, Eriq explained. And just when you started disliking him, I wanted him to do something that turned you back.
I don't care if this is popular. I don't care if this guy is likable. I mean, we always have the likability factor. Because it's so connected to our Q ratings, and
For 8 seasons, audiences never quite knew what Benton would do next. And that's what kept him one of the highest testing characters on the show. But then came the relationships, and with them came the controversy that would define Eriq's legacy. Dr. Benton was given 3 major romantic storylines, all with Black women. His relationship with Jeannie Boulet ended with an HIV scare. His relationship with Carla Reese was dysfunctional and volatile.
They were the most dysfunctional relationships. And don't get me wrong, dysfunction makes for good drama. I get that part. But there was never a balance.
Every Black relationship Benton had on screen was marred by conflict, dysfunction, or disease.
All these things that I was begging for you. Now, had they implemented that into those prior, then I would have never had a problem with it. but I did feel a responsibility.
Eriq noticed. He fought back. He asked the writers repeatedly, why don't you show Benton going on a date? George Clooney's character goes on dates.
A very limited kind of relationship. So I was saying, look, why don't George, Anthony, all these guys, they go on dates. Why don't you show Benton going on a date? Why don't we do that? African Americans, we go on dates. I was like, guess what? Just like you guys like to.
Why is every black relationship I have either fighting or having sex? They never gave him that balance. Not until they brought in Alex Kingston's character, Dr. Elizabeth Corday, a white British doctor. Suddenly, Benton was smiling, laughing, going to dinner, being romantic, showing vulnerability.
It wasn't just one-dimensional, so I was always fighting for balance. And they never gave it. They finally gave it when they brought a white woman on.
Now you're seeing me take her to dinner. I'm being silly. I'm being romantic. All the things I begged for in the prior relationships, Eriq stated firmly. Eriq made one of the most controversial decisions of his career. He went to Alex Kingston first and told her he was uncomfortable. Then he went to the producers and said he wanted out of the storyline.
Where I was and that I was uncomfortable. Ironically, it wasn't a popular decision at first, but I gotta tell you something, literally like 3 weeks ago.
It wasn't a popular decision, he admitted. But 3 weeks ago, an African-American woman reached out on Facebook. I remember you took a stand for us, and I just want to say I really appreciate it. The controversy nearly cost him everything. Some called him difficult. Some said he was playing the race card. But Eriq saw something bigger than his career. He saw responsibility. What viewers didn't know was that behind the scenes, another storm was brewing. TV Guide refused to put Eriq on their cover, point blank. They told the cast as much. While his white castmates appeared on the cover multiple times, Eriq, despite being one of the show's highest-rated characters, was denied.
The world was different. There were challenges that, at that time, TV Guide refused to put an African American on their cover, point blank, and told us as much. So whereas my castmates had, done that cover multiple times.
George Clooney mounted a campaign, researching TV Guide's history and discovering they'd featured more cartoon characters on their cover than African Americans. Just as they were about to go public, Princess Diana was killed and the news cycle swallowed everything. Eriq never got his TV Guide cover, but he got something more valuable.
I remember you took a stand for us, and I just want to say I really appreciated it. And you just like, whew.
After 8 seasons, Eriq left ER. He returned briefly during the show's 15th and final season for 3 episodes, including an uncredited appearance to announce the death of creator Michael Crichton. But by then, Eriq had moved on to directing. In 1996, he directed his first film, the HBO movie Rebound, The Legend of Earl the Goat Manigault, starring Don Cheadle, James Earl Jones, and Forrest Whitaker. He directed the pilot for Soul Food, the series on Showtime. In 2002, he produced The Salton Sea. That same year, he produced, directed, and starred in Crazy as Hell.
Hey! 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 Turn your back on me, you arrogant monkey. Do you know who I am?
Then, in 2003, he wrote, directed, and starred in an episode of The Twilight Zone called Memphis. But Eriq wasn't done transforming. In 2012, while the world knew him as a director and actor, Eriq published his first novel, Laws of Depravity. It was a crime thriller featuring NYPD detectives and an FBI agent chasing a serial killer through New York City. Publishers rejected him 14 times.
Get out here, you try to sell these books, they don't want you, and then all of a sudden when you finally get it done, people, it's a
everybody
success.
Wants to take credit.
Everybody wants to take credit. And you're like, where were you when you know what I mean? So
Eriq proved them catastrophically wrong. Laws of Depravity became a success. He followed it with Laws of Wrath in 2013 and completed the Martyr Maker trilogy with Laws of Annihilation in 2023.
A trilogy, I've been working on a trilogy crime thriller series of novels that I've been writing, and so I'm working on a third one.
His protagonist, FBI agent Janet Macklin, is half Jewish, diagnosed with terminal cancer, and given 4 months to live. The case she's assigned?
anti-Semitic hate crimes pitting the Jewish community against the Black community while white supremacists watched the chaos unfold. From the time she was a child, Agent Macklin had grand dreams of becoming the first female director of the FBI, Eriq wrote. She entered the bureau knowing that as a woman, she'd have to run faster, jump higher than every male counterpart just to be considered half equal. Sound familiar? It's the same energy Eriq brought to Dr. Peter Benton, that refusal to be less than excellent, that determination to prove everyone wrong. While writing his trilogy, Eriq continued directing. He helmed episodes of Law & Order Special Victims Unit, CSI NY, and became an executive producer and director for Chicago PD for 4 years.
Having a voice in the room to say, why can't this judge be a brother, a sister, Latina, Asian? That's the kind of power that shifts the paradigm, Eriq explained. Having the power to hire directors of color, women, that's the power I'm talking about. During his time on Chicago PD, Eriq directed one of the most powerful episodes in the show's history, an episode dealing with police brutality and the relationship between law enforcement and the Black community. It aired the night jury selection began for Derek Chauvin's trial.
We can disagree, but the cool thing is we're dialoguing about it. And that's how I do think we stand a chance of understanding each other a little better.
In 2017, however, dialogue turned dark. Actress Vanessa Marquez, who played Nurse Wendy Goldman on ER, made allegations during the height of the Me Too movement. She accused Eriq and a camera operator of being pussy grabbers and claimed she faced daily racial harassment about her Mexican heritage. She also alleged that George Clooney helped blacklist her from Hollywood after she spoke up. Eriq's representatives never responded to the specific accusations. George Clooney denied having any power to blacklist anyone. The situation remains unresolved. In August 2018, Vanessa Marquez was fatally shot by police during a welfare check at her home.
This is so sad. I am heartbroken.
Anita King dropped off flowers at the South Pasadena home where her neighbor Vanessa Marquez was shot and killed.
After her death, Eriq released a statement expressing sadness but never addressed the historical claims directly. The shadow of those accusations lingers. Some see them as credible allegations that deserve investigation. Others point to Marquez's documented mental health struggles and question the timing and context. The truth, like so many truths in Hollywood, remains murky. But what isn't murky is Eriq's continued commitment to his craft and his principles. In 2017, he appeared in Logan as Will Munson, bringing gravitas to James Mangold's gritty superhero film alongside Hugh Jackman.
Honey?
Stay down there, Will! Stop!
He continued directing across the Law & Order franchise, including episodes of Law & Order Organized Crime. In 2021, Eriq made an announcement that shocked his Chicago PD family. He was leaving the show after directing one of its most acclaimed episodes. He'd signed a development deal with Universal to create and develop his own shows.
My final episode is bittersweet because the job has been so amazing, and the responsibility and the things that I've been able to do and the types of stories that I've been able to do.
He's finishing his 4th novel now. He's developing television projects that center voices Hollywood has historically marginalized. And he's doing it all on his terms. The same way he played Dr. Peter Benton, the same way he fought for better representation of Black relationships, the same way he writes his thrillers. The question now isn't whether Eriq La Salle will continue creating, it's what he'll create next, and how many more barriers he'll obliterate along the way. Because if there's one thing 40 years in Hollywood has taught us about Eriq La Salle, it's this. He's only just getting started. And he's bringing everyone with him who's been told they don't belong.